Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Healthy Mama podcast. I'm so happy to have you here, and I am so excited because I have a special guest with me today. Jaime Snell is from EcoCreates of America. She is the owner and founder, and she is going to talk to us today all about toxin-free living. And I really feel passionate about this topic because it really goes very well with healthy living and healthy eating. This all has an effect on our health, and we're going to get into that more today. And I'm so excited to talk to Jaime. So, welcome, Jaime. How are you?
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I'm doing wonderful today. Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. And so, what I would love to do now is ask you a little bit about your story, about your background, and how you got to this point of owning the Eco Crates of America.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share that story with you. So, I'm in my 40s now, so I'll go ahead and give that away. So, in my
Mhm.
20s, I started to understand the importance of nutrition, just as a single woman, and started paying attention to what I ate, reading the labels. In my 30s, I got married, I started having children, became a stay-at-home mom. Again, nutrition was at the forefront, but I started paying more attention to the products that we were using in our home. And that it didn't have to be so that I would gag every time I cleaned something around the house or that I had to be scared if my child got a hold of my lipstick. There were ways that I could start screening our ingredients to make sure they were safe for my whole family. So I started just down that journey of which toxins were harmful, which chemicals were safe, and started screening out our products right when my first child was born. So I've been on this journey for about 12 years, and it's just part of my normal everyday lifestyle. With that passion and way of life, it was just kind of natural for me to transition to a role where I could help other moms and other families because it's a lot to navigate. It's a lot of information. It can be very overwhelming. People tend to want to do too much at one time, and then it's easy to give up because you get decision fatigue. So if I could hold people's hands and be that resource, it would be a really great opportunity to put all the things that I've learned and loved over the years into play to help others. It became a business because I thought I would start writing about it. And then a friend of mine said, well, what do you really love to do? I'm like, well, I love to shop for toxin-free products and find small businesses that, are doing the right thing for the environment, for our health. And yeah, I love to do that and then engage with people like that and then tell other people about it. She goes, well, why don't you just put that in a box and sell it? And I was like, put it in a box and sell it. So that's how the subscription box brand started.
That is awesome. So, I want to ask you for our listeners, what is your opinion about why does it matter to pay attention to the products that we're using in our lives?
It's a really good question. And not a lot of people know that it's important to pay attention. But just as in nutrition, the less ingredients, the better. Unfortunately, what has happened in the past century, all over the world, but in particularly in America, many companies found a less expensive way to produce products. And in doing so, they had to cut out some of the essential ingredients that made it pure and safe and replaced that with chemically fabricated, synthetic, artificial, unnatural, putting two ingredients together that may be safe on their own, but once they are put together, they become toxic. And adding in fragrances that are artificial because everybody likes things to smell good, but we also want a really good buy on that shampoo or that body lotion. And there's a lot of shops out there that just focus on those artificial scents, and we've bought into that. Unfortunately, all of those things that I just mentioned have been linked to a lot of harmful adverse effects for humans, pets, and children. We see an increase in allergies, we've seen an increase in skin conditions. Cancers are on the rise, and they continue to be because we're exposing ourselves repeatedly to these toxic ingredients. So, knowing what is safe and what is not safe is absolutely critical if you believe in being proactive about your health.
Yeah, that's great. And it's so frustrating to have so many products on the market that aren't really actually safe for us, and it's just so hard to know what is and what isn't safe. So you mentioned that this can have an effect on our skin. And can you talk to us more about how these products can affect our skin?
Absolutely. So, with the increase in allergies, sensitivities are growing as well. So, when we have certain chemicals that are in our products, we can get rashes easy. Dry skin is a common thing. Um, Also, we don't think about the link between it. I'm sure you do sometimes with your clients, but medications that we're on can have adverse effects on our skin because the pharmaceutical industry will create something that might help one thing in your body, but it's going to hurt other things. And then we exacerbate that by putting the synthetic ingredients on our skin that our bodies weren't made for. They don't know how to process it. And eventually, what happens is those toxins sink into your skin. As you may know, and I think we've had this conversation, our skin is our largest organ on our body.
Mm.
And if you want something to hit your bloodstream, you put it on your skin before you put it in your mouth. It's going to hit it that time. It's going to hit it so much faster because it's going to absorb right into you. So it'll hit your bloodstream faster. So anything that you put on your skin, think of it's just as important to know that it's safe to go in your body because it's going to continue to build up over time. So if it's synthetic, your body doesn't know how to process it and detox from it. It just continues to build until eventually you have a resistance to it. You get an allergy, you get skin sensitivities, you get sick, you get cancer. There are
Mm.
unfortunately so many individuals that don't pay attention to this until after the fact, after they've been diagnosed with something, after they've been diagnosed with some kind of debilitating disease, or have had to like completely re-engineer and relearn how to eat and drink and what foods they can and cannot have. And it's all linked together by these toxins building up and your body no longer knowing how to process it. So it just starts shutting down. Then you have to eliminate everything. And if you've ever done an elimination diet during
Mm.
that is the worst. It's so horrible. But then think about having to eliminate all of the products that you found as creature comforts over the years. So what I do with EcoCreates of America, in addition to the subscription box where I provide products every month, I help families navigate, okay, what are the non-negotiable products that you really need in your home? What is it that you, whether it's a cleaning product or a personal care product, what is it you love about it? And then I hold their hands and we walk through safer alternatives to those products that no longer carry the artificial ingredients. And we just do it one at a time. So it's just a slow pace. And that's how I build my blog. If you've ever logged in to read any of my articles, small little topics here and there, little snippets, social media. I'll post little tips on things to look for, things to watch out for. Trying to consume all the information at one time is, again, I said, overwhelming. So you wouldn't want to do that to yourself, and I definitely wouldn't want to do that to any of my clients.
Yes, I can see how it could definitely get overwhelming. And so you were talking about the thing, products that we use on our skin, but what about the other products like what we use to clean our house or that we use other beauty care products and other scents to make our house smell better. So what kinds of effects can we find from those types of products?
So they're just as dangerous, if not more so. A lot of normal household cleaners carry toxins such as formaldehyde. They use artificial fragrances that are in there that make it smell better to hide the toxic stuff that's in there, to hide the foul odors of formaldehyde and other chemicals that could be used. So in addition to the personal care products, the things you need to be careful with cleaning products and products around your home is to watch for those ingredients because you're still touching your skin. You're not lathering it all over your body. You're not spraying pledge on your skin to make it shine
Mm.
like your furniture, but you're touching your furniture. You're inhaling those ingredients. They're adding to the indoor air quality of your home. On average, our indoor air quality is 2 to 5 times worse than that of what you're going to find outside. And it's mainly because we're bringing in toxins and we're not airing them back out. So they're just building in here. So whatever you do bring into your home is just as critical as what you put on your body because you're going to continue to breathe it in, touch it with your bare feet. Your babies are going to crawl on those floors. Your children are going to lick the walls. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's going to happen. If you don't know that yet,
Yes,
it will happen. They're going to lick
amen.
everything, the remote control, the couch, anything you have around, your kids are going to see, ooh, what happens when I put this in my mouth? So knowing that it's been cleaned with something that is not going to harm them, or you have to induce vomiting or call 911, not having anything under your sink that is going to give you that anxiety is just a peace of mind every mama deserves to have.
Yes, and I think that over the last couple of years, we've become very conscious about maybe killing germs and making sure that there's no germs in our environment and around us. And so I think some people have gotten in the habit of maybe using a little bit more bleach products or using a little bit more Lysol. And I think that the problem is it sounds like what you're saying is these products, because they're not natural, can have an effect on us in a very negative way. But what about for those people that are concerned about killing germs in this time of life, these last couple of years that we've been worried about um, extra germs? Is there something, are there alternatives?
Absolutely. There are safe alternatives that you can kill these germs with in your home without harming your family, your children, your pets, or even reducing the indoor air quality. I am right there with you. This is when EcoCrates came to fruition in my mind. It started because of the pandemic. I had time on my hands, and I just got more aware of how laxed I had become with what was coming into our house. And we were in our homes like constantly. Knowing what was around me, I just became more hyper vigilant about what I wanted to surround myself with when it came to ingredients. And I went through everything again. I do that every couple of years, even though I live this lifestyle, things are going to creep in. I'm not an anti bleacher. I do
Mhm.
own bleach. It is in my garage on a very high shelf, one bottle, and it's kind of like break in case of an emergency. So
Mm,
it does have a place and time, but I do not believe it belongs in the home. I do not believe in bleach products that you need to do your laundry with, to clean your sink with. You can use things, vinegar and baking soda go so far. Those are two
mm,
simple ingredients everyone should have in their house because it can clean so much. Other things to kill germs, in addition to the vinegar, if you want something stronger, you can use rubbing alcohol. That is
mm.
great for cleaning surfaces on your kitchen counter. You could even dilute it a little bit if you wanted to, but rubbing alcohol is great for mirrors too. But so is vinegar. So it just depends on which one's on sale that week. So you have these two alternatives. And then another thing, people have used just cheap grain vodka
Mhm.
because that's just alcohol and it kills the germs. It burns it off. So I've seen people clean their counters with vodka when the bleach wipes were out of stock. And it's a cheap alternative and it's safer than the bleach wipes, honestly, because
Wow.
it's good. The alcohol is going to evaporate as opposed to the bleach, which is going to linger. So which one do you want your kid licking? Evaporated
Right.
alcohol or this? Now, don't let them drink either ever by any means, but if you had to choose what you're going to leave on the surfaces and let it dry, definitely go for the safer alternative.
Of course. And that leads me to my next question about how this is all affecting our kids.
Oh, yeah. So, unfortunately, well, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I read articles, I read statistics. I don't do those surveys myself. What I have seen over the past 3 to 4 decades is an increase in sensitivities and allergies for our children because we are exposing it to them from the womb.
Mm.
Forever chemicals, have you heard of those that are in the nonstick pans? There's a
Oh,
great
yes.
couple great documentaries out there now, but even a movie that was done that just talks about these forever chemicals that was created for this nonstick material. And once it gets in your body, it is forever there. There's no way for your body to process it or purge it or detox from it. So you want to minimize it because it will build over time. And it has directly been proven to cause many cancers and lesions and tumors in unborn children, in the fetus for workers that were in the factory. Um, and that's just the nonstick component. So there's other things that we expose our children to, and they're born with toxins in their body because
Mm.
we're absorbing them into our skin and it's getting through the placenta. The placenta was not designed to filter out artificial ingredients because our body was not designed to process artificial ingredients. So unfortunately, our children are being born with it. So their sensitivities are higher. It can cause speech delays. It can cause learning delays. It can cause uh, deformations in some children. So there's a lot out there that is untapped as far as research. A lot of it has to do with big companies not wanting a lot of people to know the specific details about how their products are affecting people. But if you look at the basic ingredients of these products and you go to something like EWG, which is an environmental working group, so it's a publicly owned organization and nonprofit, and they go in and they test all these ingredients, and they test the ingredients of different products, and they test how they interact with each other, and they have this huge, amazing database on what these ingredients have done to people over time, how they affect children, how they affect adults, if they've had negative effects, adverse effects. They also tell you if it's safe, if it's not safe. They have a scale of 0 to 10 that will tell you, safest, no toxins, no problems. 10, avoid it at all costs. Don't ever buy it. Don't ever have it in the house. If you see it, walk the other way. So it's a really great resource to try and understand a little bit more about what these ingredients are, how they affect us, and how they're affecting our children.
Yeah, that's great. I love the EWG, and I love that you can actually look up things to see how safe they are so that we can do the best for our bodies and for our children's bodies. And yeah, it's really helpful. So what are some steps that we can take in order to help our environment and our products that we're using to kind of minimize some of these toxins that you might recommend?
Yeah, so I would say the first and foremost important thing to do is to know your ingredients. Understand like what are the top harmful ingredients that you need to be watching out for and avoiding. Kind of like in nutrition, you try to avoid um, certain processed things. You definitely avoid artificial colors and certain synthetic ingredients, high fructose corn syrup, some of the processed things.
Mm.
So when it comes to products, one of the most highly processed ingredients that people aren't aware of is fragrance. Fragrance is technically a proprietary blend term, and companies are protected. If they use the word fragrance, they can put up to 300 chemicals under the label fragrance. They don't have to list anything else.
Mm.
So you don't know what you're getting. If it says fragrance, they're not being transparent with you. And that to me is a big red flag. So the first and foremost, if you're really serious about getting rid of toxins in your home, get rid of anything that has the word fragrance in the ingredients. Another thing that you can pay attention to on the ingredients list are SLS, which is a sudsing agent. It's also known as sodium lauryl sulfate. I would stay away from that. I would stay away from phthalates. Phthalates are hormone disruptors. So we can see in our children, a lot of the children are having puberty sooner. And it's
Mm.
because of all of these hormone disruptors that are getting into our body and confusing our systems of what to develop when and how to process our emotions. It's truly just wreaking havoc on our hormones. We've seen girls have problems with their periods when they're teenagers, and we're also seeing infertility in 20s and 30s of women, and it has everything to do with hormone disruption. So, I mean, there are other biological reasons for it, but in my heart of hearts, I know that our products are leading so many of us down these sad, sad roads. So, those three ingredients I would start with trying
Mhm.
to avoid.
That is so helpful. Thank you. So tell us then a little bit more about your company and how this can help us with kind of getting rid of some of these ingredients that we don't want in our lives.
Absolutely. So, EcoCreates of America, as I mentioned, it is a subscription box brand. The premise behind the prescription box is that within 1 year's time, you will have all of the essentials you need in your home to live a toxin-free life. All the basic core things. So each month we go to a different room that we feature, whether that be your kitchen, your laundry room, your bedroom, your bathroom, provide education on what to look out for in those spaces, how to optimize your air quality, and then the products to use in there. And when we talk about products, So it's education on the ingredients. We provide the products for you, how to use them. We always try to find things that are multi-purposes. So you're not just stuck with one product that only does one thing. But the cool thing is that these products are made by small American businesses that also have a passion for living a toxin-free life. So there's small batches, they're hand created, and there's heart and soul that goes into every single product that comes in our crates. So in addition, we also have the education platform, which I'm very passionate about. As you can see, I could probably talk all day long
Mhm.
on why it's important to have clean ingredients in our products and to be able to share that light or to shed that light for other families and to help walk them step by step with the information. I want to be that resource. I want EcoCreates of America to be that resource, not just a subscription brand. Yes, I want you to buy our boxes because I want you to live a toxin-free life and I want your home to be safe and clean and you to sleep like with peace of mind at night, knowing that if your toddler gets up in the middle of the night and sneaks into the kitchen, or if you're cooking dinner and they go into your bathroom, that you're not going to freak out if they get into one of those cabinets. I mean, there was a time there were no child locks on cabinets
Mm.
because we didn't have anything we had to keep them safe from. We just kept the knives up real high and the irons out of reach, and they were pretty good with the pots and pans and that kind of thing. So I want to be that resource. I want to be that go-to guide. I want my blog to serve for education and for entertainment. I want people to reach out to me and let me help them connect to the right companies and the right products. I also want to be just that resource for those products. So not just the businesses, but to have a database that they could reference. And eventually, I'd like to have a shop that they could come to so that they could find all American made products to help reinvest into our economy and strengthen the health of Americans all over our country.
That sounds amazing. And it really sounds like this is so helpful to the busy moms out there that are trying very hard to, or they want to live less with less toxins, less chemicals, but it's hard to find the time to find the correct products. And you're kind of making it easy for them by putting it all into one place so that they're not trying to read every bottle and find these things. And they're products that are more convenient than having to make your own at home. Because then, you're still using natural ingredients, but then that's a whole other project that not everybody has the time or energy for.
Yeah,
So,
well, I was just sure, I've actually gone down that path before. I think I had told you. So
mm,
when my first child was born, I started making my own things because I decided to stay at home. And I thought, well, that would be my contribution. I would spend less on some of the foods and some of the cleaning products that we were using. I would mix them all together myself. And so I started doing that and I learned how to do personal care products, cleaning products, and it was great for a while. But after a while, and then the second kid came along, and the third kid come, I didn't
mm,
have time. I didn't have the energy. I stopped baking our own bread, even though I know it was better. I'm getting back to it now, finally. But yes, convenience, and you don't have time for all those little nuances. You can't be perfect at it all. So what happened was, as my husband started to make a little bit more money, and I started to get more involved with the children, I could no longer make everything from scratch, but I knew what I didn't want in my house anymore. So that's why I started looking into these products. So yes, I want to be that resource. I want to be that go-to guide. If you want to know how to make it, reach out to me. I will help you learn. If you don't have time to make it, no shame in that game. I will get you the right products in your hands that are not just safe, but also quality and effective.
yeah, that sounds great. So I think you mentioned that you have something to share with the listeners. So tell us about
Yes.
that.
So I put together a small guide, and I think we're going to put a link to it
Yes.
down in the notes there. So it's a small guide just for you to take a look at. It's 5 hidden toxins that you're going to find in your bedroom, things that we don't think about every day, and you may not even realize that you've brought them into your home. So it's just kind of a aha little guide, aha moment guide to be more mindful of what's in there and some tips and tricks on how to either eliminate it, avoid it, or minimize it.
That's awesome. I will put that free guide link in the show notes for us and tell us how we can connect with you, where we can find you, and where we can find Eco Crates of America.
Absolutely. Before I do, I have the most exciting piece of information I got just last week, and I want to share it with you, and I want to share it with your crew that EcoCrates of America has been nominated by a year of boxes for the best eco-friendly subscription box in the United States for the year 2022. I would love your
Mhm.
vote. I would love your vote for this. I would love the name EcoCrates in America to be a household name for everyone and know that they can trust us and look to us as that resource. So, with your permission, I would also love to put a link for that vote in there. The votes are good until August 31st, which is when I believe this hits
Yes.
live, right? So, you gotta go and do it today, guys. But I would love your support. Help this brand, help my family grow this business.
Yeah, I will definitely put the link in there. So, yes, let's support Eco Crates of America,
Thank you.
small American business. And I think that we can all stand behind things like that. So, thank you. And tell us
So,
where we can find you and
absolutely.
link to.
So, in the process of building this business over this last year, I have a website which is very informative. That's at ecocratesofamerica.com. I also have an Instagram account at EcoCrates of America. I have Facebook at EcoCrates. And we also have a private Facebook group if you're interested in joining, where we talk every day about not just toxin free living, but also life and the things that we go through. So, all of us mamas need each other no matter what. So, it's got definitely the support for eco friendly learning and toxin free living, but it's also just a great community to come and be a part of. And that Facebook group is called Eco Curious to Eco Conscious. And then I do every now and again a little fun video on TikTok for my personal account, and you can find that under Jaime Snell. And I'm currently building my YouTube channel, EcoCrates of America, and my Pinterest account with EcoCrates of America. So I'm kind of all over the place. I do have a LinkedIn account that's not active at the moment, but it does exist. So, eventually I'm going to be in all these places and I'm going to have a help growing them because I would like to be a resource on all these different platforms because you never know where you're going to reach somebody that needs me.
Yes, and I will have all those links in the show notes so you can definitely find Jaime and you can check out her products and also, of course, the free guide. And also, we want to vote. So, thank you
Yes, I would
so
love that.
much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, this has been really great. And I definitely want to encourage people to definitely think about their products because I work a lot with people that are dealing with a lot of health issues, a lot of inflammation issues, and this all goes hand in hand. It all relates. So thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today, Jaime.
It was my pleasure, Lucy. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.